President Trump has officially taken the reins on the peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. They are happening. Trump just canceled his long-planned trip to Bedminster for the August vacation to work on the peace deal. The White House is also working nonstop on a location for a face-to-face meeting between Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky, their first since 2019. Several reports suggest Budapest, Hungary could be that site. Whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, we have to acknowledge there has been incredible movement over the past 2 weeks to end the 3.5-year war. And things are moving quite quickly now. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs meets with European counterparts tomorrow. Trump has been working for months to get Putin and Zelensky to a table and should be applauded for the fact that now these two men who hate each other, and with good reason, will be at a table together. So if we want to reach a meaningful peace deal, which is an incredibly noble goal, we have to be patient. That's our Why It Matters segment tonight. With each day of diplomatic talks that go on, Russia is ramping up its air and drone strikes. There's a reason for this. They want to try to occupy as much land as they can. They want to try to beat the Ukrainians into submission. The attack last night was the largest by Russia this month. It's part of the reason the West is seriously now considering a new level of air defenses for Ukraine. And there are now reports that that goes beyond just surface-to-air missiles and also drone defenses. This new plan would involve pilots in the skies.
Made clear no U.S. boots on the ground. Is the president considering U.S. boots in the air as a form of a security guarantee?
Look, that was something the president mentioned on his interview this morning. It is an option and a possibility.
Just a day ago, Trump actually wasn't ruling out the possibility of American boots on the ground. This morning, he rejected that possibility. It's a change. It shows just how fast-moving these negotiations are, how things change. The president himself, well, he has, I think anybody would say, a very ambitious time frame to reach a deal.
I think that President Putin wants to find an answer too, and we'll see. And in a certain period of time, not very far from now, a week or 2 weeks, we're going to know whether or not we're going to solve this.
Yeah, you have to get those two men in the room, Zelensky and Putin, and figure out if there's some kind of middle ground. And getting two countries who each believe that the land of Ukraine is rightfully theirs, whether they are right or not, well, trying to get them to come to an agreement, much less an agreement on a peace deal, an agreement on where to meet, is hard. Now even finding a location for a sit-down is a lot more difficult than you might think. And then they have to work through all of the details, like what do the borders look like, which is why Putin is ramping up his attacks. And then there's the security guarantees. What will Putin accept? He has a say in all of this. We live in a world where people want results, and they want them now. The White House says those poking holes in Trump's work and his plan just want him to fail. And in a brand new interview, President Trump argued he is being held to a very different standard than his predecessor, who stood by. I was there. He did stand by, while Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014.
It really started with Obama because Obama gave away Crimea.
Right.
And Crimea was the heart and soul of that country. If I gave up that land, I'd be on the front page of every paper for the next 20 years. When Obama gave it up, they don't even talk about it.
And I was in Ukraine in 2014. Trump is doing far more for Ukraine than Obama was. So two things can be true at once. Nothing Trump does is good enough for the media. But he often gives them ammunition, considering, for example, his constantly changing timelines.
We're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences. I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today.
So at some point, these threats must mean something, or they mean nothing ever to Vladimir Putin and anybody else in the world.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.